Hey everyone, Chris here, your mentor at the Lorcana Tutor. Today I'm going to be sharing with you 10 resources that I found incredibly helpful getting into Lorcana. I think that can be beneficial for anyone that's new to trading card games or just new to Lorcana in general. A lot of these I use every single day. Some of them are just really helpful if you're just trying to find your footing. So the first one, and I think the most important resource that you can find near you, is a local game store. So at the local game store, you're going to be able to buy all of your product. You're going to be able to buy your accessories. You're going to be able to play games. You're going to be able to meet people that are into the game, which can help you do trades, play testing, make friends. And all your local game stores are going to get product 2 weeks before Target, Amazon, Best Buy, any of those big box stores. I also really like supporting local businesses. It goes right into your community, and these are the places that you're going to go play. So I highly recommend going and finding a local game store near you. Now, if you've never played a trading card game, that might be a little bit trickier. And if there's a bunch in your area, I'd recommend trying out a bunch, trying to find the right fit for you. I think I've been to, 5 or 6 in my area, and I found one that works best with my schedule, and everyone there is super cool, so it's been a really, really great fit. So on the Disney Lorcana official website, they have a store locator. So what you would do in here is type in a location near you. You can type in your address if you want, and it will show you all of the licensed game stores near them. Now, what I just did was I just found a random zip code here on Zip Code Generator, and you type it in, you search, and here it will give you a list of all of the game stores near this area. You can change it for how close you want it to be, and you can zoom out and kind of see. This happens to be near the Baltimore area. That there's a lot in this Baltimore area. And again, what I recommend is maybe go to the one that's closest to you, see if you like it. You can click on this and you can kind of, see their websites and all that kind of stuff. Let's look at this Haunted Game Cafe. Seems like a really cool store. So just finding a local game store for you, I think is going to be the most important resource that you can do. It's really going to be your central hub for everything. Store locator. Now, the second resource I'd really recommend, and this is one I use almost every single day, is trying to find some good Discord groups or Facebook groups. So my favorite Discord channel right now is this 20 Lore Pro Discord. So this is designed for more competitive players and more competitive discussions. My favorite thread is this deck list set 5. So each deck has its own thread, and there's a lot of really, really high level players in here. There's people that have won DLCs that are giving their thoughts in here. So if you're looking to maybe pick up a new deck or look for some more insights in a deck that you've already played, this is such a great resource. So, if you play Ruby Amethyst and you're trying to figure out what the newest update is here, there's just so much discussion going on here, and same thing for every single deck. So it's a really good place just to kind of even get a starting format from. You can go in and ask questions, and people are more than willing to share their thoughts, and it's just a really good way to get yourself into seeing the thought process that some of these really high level players have, but also finding like there's this is like the official Disney Discord, and there's some more just general talk. I have one for my general region that I'm in. My local game store has their own Discord that we all have our internal discussions in. So finding these places that you can sit and talk with the community, I think, is a really, really important thing. You're going to pick up so much knowledge and information by doing this, and it's again something that I just like to kind of check in on a daily basis. Now, the third resource I would recommend, and I use every single day, is YouTube. Now, this may seem a little redundant since you are watching this on YouTube, but I think just inundating yourself with information and surrounding yourself with people talking about the content, you're going to learn so much. You're going to pick up so much more information. You're going to feel more connected with the game. And there's so many different levels of content, whether you're looking for some of the competitive stuff, whether you're watching people open packs, you're looking for tips and tricks. But if I go in and say, okay, well, I'm looking for, I've heard Hyper Aggro is a good starting deck. Let me see what kind of videos we have here. And then you're like, oh, whoa, this video looks super cool. And then oh, the Lorcana tutor, I'm going to subscribe, and all this kind of stuff. But you can find there's so many good content creators out there making stuff, and it's such a good way to get information. I know for me, I like to kind of on my rides to work, watch a video or listen to a video. I look forward to some of the weekly podcasts that come out. I love watching the interviews of some of the people that have won these DLCs. So I think the best way to learn anything is just to inundate yourself with information, and YouTube is one of the best ways to go through and do that, because then you can really find some of the content that you're looking for as well. The fourth helpful resource that I'd recommend for anyone trying to get into Lorcana is TCGPlayer.com. So what this is just an online marketplace specifically for trading card games. And I think it has the most up-to-date, the most accurate information on kind of what the going rates for specific cards are, or what the specific price for sealed product is. So Disney Lorcana has its own little drop-down section. You can just go to Shop All. You can see kind of what the most popular cards are. You can filter it down. So if you're looking for, specifically, okay, well, I didn't get anything from the first chapter. I wonder how much, what am I looking for? The rarity, here we go. I wonder how much all these legendaries are going for. And you can really, really file it down. Say if you're looking for something specific, if you're looking for, I need to build a new Clarabelle because she's super strong. You can type that in. You can see kind of what the going rate is. If you were looking to get a new booster box, right, you can kind of see what the price is. Right now, a booster box Shimmering Skies is $112.75. You can scroll down. There's all these different options. Again, I would recommend that if your local game store has competitive prices, trying to support them as opposed to just going to TCGPlayer right away. What's nice is a lot of the places that do post on TCGPlayer are local game stores, just at different location, but being able to support your direct community. Even for myself, even if it's $10, $15 more, I like to try to spend that money where I go and play Lorcana, putting it back into my community as opposed to maybe another community elsewhere. But I think this is a really, really good place to go and gauge what the market is for cards. And if you just want to, maybe you don't have access to a local game store near you and you want to buy singles and build a deck, I think that this is the top resource that I use. I know some people use eBay, but I really like TCGPlayer a lot more. All right, resource number 5 is Dreamborn.inc. This is a 2-in-1 where I love to track my collection in here, and this is where I build all of my decks. So going into the collection thing, now my own personal collection's in a different account, but this is my Lorcana tutor account. You can just keep track of all of the cards that you have. One of the great things that is kind of integrated into this website is, so let's say, okay, I have 4 Prince Naveen's. I go into the deck builder and I want to build a deck that has 4 Prince Naveen's. It's going to cross-reference your collection to know how much are you missing. So all of the prices are based on TCGPlayer prices, which we just looked at before. So now if I wanted to build a deck with this, okay, well, I'm missing 76 76 cents worth of cards. And if you put your whole collection in there, it will, you'll be able to see, okay, this is what I'm missing. This is kind of what I have. But you can keep track of all of your own decks in here. And, it keeps track with the updated on the pricing. You can also see other people's decks. So you can go to newest. This is just what's happening when people are updating their own decks. There's video, so kind of some of the stuff that I've posted in the past goes in here. Some of the most popular decks of, I guess, all time really, or kind of, I don't know how they track that versus like trending, so what's kind of popular in the moment. You can do favorites, so you can put all of the ones you really like into one spot. You can sort it by like, okay, well, I want to be able to have all of the cards. I want to be able to have this many of the cards. Or you can sort it by, I just want to look at amber decks. Oh, I want to look at amethyst decks. And again, it's just a really great resource. I love just kind of sitting in the deck builder, trying to mess around with different ideas. And this is where I do all of my deck building as well as keeping track of my collection. In the collection too, it will keep track of how much you own, and you can do multiple. So you can get an idea of what the monetary value of your collection is. I think for a lot of people, knowing that they're continuing to make an investment is an important part of getting into a TCG, and spending money in a TCG is that it does have secondary value. For me, I mean, it's just nice to know, to kind of say, oh, okay, well, I've spent how much on Lorcana and it's worth how much. But again, this keeps track of all of it. It cross-references TCGPlayer, so you get the most accurate data. There are some trade aspects. So I'll pull this up if I'm sitting and trying to work out a trade with someone, where you can say, okay, well, you have a Daisy Duck. Let's see which one it is. Donald's Date. Okay, well, that's worth 16. What if I trade you my something around 16? Well, if we do a Bell, Strange but Special, okay, well, that one's 21, and I add it onto this side here, and it keeps track of, there, and you can kind of go and find a good balance. It's just a nice little tool to have. But yeah, definitely recommend using Dreamborn, both for tracking your collection as well as kind of building and cataloging decks. All right, resource number 6 is the official Lorcana companion app. So you can get this on either your Apple iPhone or Google phone through the App Store. And it has a card catalog. You can track your collection like Dreamborn. You can build decks in there. So you can do a lot of the stuff. For me, it's just a little bit clunkier than Dreamborn. But I think one of the coolest things about it is that it has a built-in lore counter where you can do 2 players, which is really nice for just casually getting the game. If you don't have dice or paper or anything like that, you just put this up. And you can also do it for the Ursula's Return Illumineers quest. That's really cool. It keeps track of all of that there, how many cards Ursula draws at the beginning of the turn. It changes automatically. And I would say the UI is really pretty too. So when you're using it, it's very visually aesthetic. And there is a little quick start play guide in there, which is awesome. So if you are just looking for a basic quick read on some of the rules and refreshers, it has a kind of step-by-step thing that it teaches you how to do that. So definitely something. I don't use it a lot. I prefer to track my games using a pen and paper. Actually, I have like a boogie board kind of thing that I use now to save paper, but I think it can be helpful just for, especially on your phone, just having it there. All right, resource number 7 is Lorcana.inc. So this is a proxy printer. So I think this can be really helpful if you just want to, have multiple decks at home. You want to play against some of the meta decks. Maybe you're not sure if you're ready to invest in this expensive legendary for your deck. What this does is it's going to generate these little proxy cards on a piece of paper, so then you can cut them out and play with them. So you can still get the effect of using the card, playing the card, but just at the cost of the ink and the paper. So you can, I don't know if you can, you can actually import a whole deck. So if you go into Dreamborn, you do export text to thing, you could put it in there and it would import your whole deck. If you're looking just for specific cards, again, you looked at the Clarabelle on TCGPlayer and I was like, whoa, it's how much? You can do, all right, Light on Her Hooves. I want to try something with 4 of them. I don't have a dime yet, and maybe I do that. Oh, okay, I need a couple Tamatoas, so shiny. You can do that. What's going to happen is it's going to generate this sheet. We'll go to your downloads. You hit a proxy sheet here, pulled up on my other screen. Let me see if I can get it for you. But here it will give you all the proxies. You print this out, and then what you can do is put it in a sleeve with one of these insert cards. You put that in there like that. You cut it out, put it in front, and then you just shuffle it into your deck as normal. And you can, again, try out a bunch of these different cards without having to invest in the actual cards themselves. Be careful about doing this. I wouldn't go to like your local game store and play in your league night or play in any tournaments with these. These are really more just for like at home testing. If after your round is done, you can be like, hey, I have this deck, but I have proxies in there. Is it okay for me to do it? But definitely don't show up to any like tournaments or anything like that with this. It's just more for testing, trying stuff out without feeling like, okay, I have to buy all the cards or buy doubles of these cards or things like that. But just again, I think a really, really important resource if you're trying to see if Lorcana is right for you. All right, resource number 8 here. We're going to start getting into some ways that you can actually play the game in different ways online. So the first one here is inktable.net. Now, this is just an in-browser play tester where you can, they have it for a bunch of different trading card games. You're going to go to inktable.net, you're going to click the Lorcana one, and then here you can go to Quick Match. Now, all of these games are against a computer. Truthfully, I think that the computer is not tuned very well, and it makes a lot of like unoptimized plays. So if you're trying to seriously test your decks, I wouldn't do this. You can just see to make sure, okay, like, can I get decent hands? What do the lines look like if I don't worry about what my opponent is doing? One of the nice things is that they do have all of the starter decks pre-built into the game. So starter decks are a great place for beginners to start. That's why they're called starter decks. And I think that this would be something really good for beginners to use. Now, the reason for that is, let's say here, so you would click this deck and say, okay, player 1, which you're player 1, and then player 2 is the computer. Now, I would select 2 decks from the same set. So see, these are both ROF, both from Rise of the Floodborn. They're more designed to play against each other than that. You can start, but one of the reasons that this is nice for beginners is it kind of shows you all of the options, right? So it says, okay, what card are you mulliganing? It's going to do all these steps for you, kind of cue you on where you need to go. So, okay, we have our 2-drop, which is good. I don't know if I need that. We have our 4-drop. We'll keep one of those just to be aggressive, and we'll save the goat for later. I'm playing it more like a competitive deck, but it's a starter deck, so it is what it is. And then it's going to give you all of your different options here, right? So it's you can't play any cards because you don't have any ink, so you're going to ink your card. Let's ink one of these Lilos, and then since the only thing I can do here is now you can play a card, it's going to only highlight the card you can play, and then you pass. The computer's going to take its turn, and it passes back to you. It draws for you automatically. It's going to do a bunch of the stuff that maybe you, when you're learning, maybe you're not sure of the right steps or all of that kind of stuff. So taking that out of the hands of the players can be really beneficial. And then here, again, same thing. It's going to quest for you. It's going to keep track of the lore. You're going to remind, like, oh, card ability. Wait, what is that? And you can be like, oh, right, this is a card I can use. I can do all this kind of stuff. It's going to keep track of it, so when it challenges. So again, it can be helpful for beginners. I think just getting used to how a game unfolds. But as far as starting to actually like seriously test your decks, I think that this is not the right resource, but still a good resource nonetheless. All right, resource number 9, again, another in-browser way to play the game. It's called untap.in. This one you look up with your, or you you connect your Discord up with it. And the idea here is that people can host games and you can play games, you can upload your own decks, and you play against another person. It's not against AI. You have to either wait for a person to join your game, or what I do is I, talk with my friend, be like, oh, you want to go do a game on Untap, and you can do that. So I'm going to kind of just show you solo here. We'll start with a game. And what you do is you pre-upload your deck in, and you can pick which one you want to do. So let's say I want to play Purple Steel. Now, this is very close to like a tabletop simulator kind of thing. Sorry, I'm hiding my deck here. Let me move myself all the way over there. And so here I have my deck. I'm going to draw the cards. The tough thing here is that there are a bunch of hotkeys that you can learn. So, hovering over something, hovering over this and hitting spacebar is here, but everything is done manually. So if I wanted to put a card down, I would then spacebar to exert it, and I could play. So it can be a little bit clunkier than using something like Inktable, but with the lack of Pixelborn not being around anymore, I think that this is one of the better ways to get really good really good games with friends online. You can try out a bunch of different decks. Since you don't need to have the cards, you can just import the deck list that you want to try. I also think that playing in this way actually translates to paper a little bit better, where you don't have all of the triggers and everything done for you, where you need to keep track of, okay, am I going to get lore from my castle? Okay, am I going to draw a card from Diablo? Oh, right, this gets this bonus from this and this and that, where sometimes the online simulators that take care of all of that for you, you can develop some bad habits when you start to go into paper and play games. So I really like this. I've been playing some games with friends as of late. It can be a little bit clunky, a little bit of getting used to, but once you learn the hotkeys and all of that kind of stuff, it's really not too bad at all. All right, the 10th and final resource we're going to talk about is Pixelborn Connect. For those of you that don't know, Pixelborn used to be the unofficial online client. I believe it came out during launch, and it was a great resource to have at the time. It was very similar to Inktable, where a lot of things were already done for you, but the biggest thing was that it had an online ranked matchmaking system. Everything was done within the client itself. It was run by one guy, Pavel. Shout out to Pavel. He did phenomenal work. I think really with just progressing the game. I think the week that it got shut down, I remember seeing something like there was, I forget, maybe 1 million games played over just that one weekend. I know for me particularly, it helped grow my interest into the game. It allowed me to get more repetitions playing games, feeling more comfortable going into competitive tournaments. Now that is gone. That's gotten taken down by Disney for using the mechanics of the game and such. But what we have in replacement of that from Pixelborn is something called Pixelborn Connect. It is a webcam-based service. It does still have online ranked matchmaking. So it's really good for just being able to go in, get a game, play against people at your own ranking system, and try out all your decks that you have. I don't have it personally. I don't have a webcam set up yet, and when I tried downloading it, I ran into some issues with my Mac. But from what I'm seeing on like Discord servers and such, I know there are some high-level people playing on here. So if it's something that you have access to and you're able to set up a webcam, I would definitely recommend checking it out and just jamming games with a bunch of people, meeting some new people. So these are some of the 10 things I think are the most helpful if you're trying to get started in Disney Lorcana. If you already play and you have some other resources, please leave a comment down below. I'd love to have this just be a place that new players can come and kind of get different information and resources to get them into the game of Disney Lorcana, game that I love so much. So the more I can share it with people is awesome. If you found this video helpful, please let me know. Leave a comment, like, subscribe, all of that good stuff. It really helps. Thank you again for watching the video, and make sure to keep an eye out for the next video coming out soon. Thank you. Bye.